Welcome back to another exciting and thrill-filled adventure with DIY Nautical Dream. Okay, maybe that was a little over the top. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get our next video started. Hi, I'm Rich.
I'm Priscilla.
And together we're DIY Nautical Dream. Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Rich.
I'm Priscilla.
And together we make DIY Nautical Dream. Oh, we got that good that time. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. In this video, I'm sorry.
Here, do you want me to do it?
Sure, go ahead.
So, this episode, guys, we're gonna review the Irwin 52, and it was located in Miami, Florida.
That's right. Yeah. So here we are. We're looking at the schematic cutaway view of a Irwin 52. You can see the floor layout and the side view as well. Yeah. So we, after we looked at the last boat, we traveled to Miami, from Titusville to Miami, and we were set to look at this Irwin 52. And this one was a little bit older than the, you could just tell by looking at it, it was an older model. Yeah, so we drove to Miami, met the gentleman, and yeah, it was right at the back of somebody's house on one of those canals in Miami. So it has moorage back there. It's pretty cool. Really nice place. I wouldn't mind living in a place like that where you can have your boat right out in the backyard. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So yeah, here's what we saw when we first got there. I mean, is this cool or what? This boat is right at their backyard on a canal in Florida. That would be the way to go right there. Those people are living right. Anyways, but yeah, so that was our first, when we first walked up to the boat, that was our first view of it, first impression, and we were quite happy with what we were seeing so far. So it was looking really good at this point. Anyways, we go back there and walking up to see this boat, and right away, I mean, Irwin 52, these things are big, really nice looking boats. I mean, they're pretty well set up. You can just tell by looking at them from the outside. These are nice looking boats. So what did you think on first impression?
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And so, yeah, so we went ahead and got started, looking at this boat. And so here's our first view of the boat as we're walking up to it on the dock. It's looking pretty good. We're both really attracted to this boat. These Irwin 52s they're very stunning looking boats. If you get a chance to look at one, check it out. It was blue, so that was cool. We liked the color of the outside, and we went ahead and we proceeded to head down below into the main salon area of the boat. So here's a view of the companionway stairs leading into the main salon of the boat. These stairs are not too bad. It's not like a big ladder or anything like that. The companionway area on this boat was fair. It was nice. It wasn't like a grand staircase, but it really didn't feel like we were walking down a major ladder to get into this boat either. So it was kind of nice. It was somewhere in the middle, which was a good compromise. For a boat this size, it was still a nice entryway. So yeah, if we get down inside and, our first impressions looking around, this was a pretty nice looking boat. Really well laid out boat. Very open in the inside. Big. Very big boat,
How big?
Oh, it was a big one. And yeah, so we liked the spacious feeling of the inside of this boat. It did not have that cramped, small feeling inside. Okay, so here you can see as you're coming down the companionway stairs, just off to the right, you'll see the large settee on the right side there. And that's a pretty good size settee. You can seat a few people. And then if you look forward, you'll see the flat screen TV mounted on the forward bulkhead area there. So nice viewing range for the TV. And then, yeah, so you can see the main salon is a pretty good size. It's pretty roomy. It looks like it's full beam width of the boat. So that's a little about 15 feet. And then, yeah, it's got a nice little stand in front of the TV. Imagine that will open up for storage inside. So, yeah, it's a pretty roomy boat. And then if you look off to the left side, you'll see the other large settee over there, and that one's even bigger. So you're talking quite a bit of room in this boat. You could sit quite a few grown adults in here for entertaining, watching movies, playing games, whatever, just hanging out. So the main salon was really cool. We took, lots of looking around there, and then we wanted to go check the aft cabin and the master bathroom in the aft cabin. We wanted to check that out kind of right away, just because we've had, we've looked at several boats by now, and they all have issues in the aft cabin, the bed, or something we don't like about it. So we're kind of know what we're looking for. We thought we knew what we were looking for at this point, and so we wanted to go to the aft cabin first to check that layout on it. So we get back there, and it's got a nice big bed in the back. The bed's up a little bit high,
Yeah.
but
it was the design that we like.
Yeah, it was a design we could. It was a partial walk around, so she could get on and off from her side of the bed. I could get on and off from my side of the bed, so we wouldn't be disrupting anybody in the middle of the night.
So here you can see on our way back to the aft cabin area, you can just see already it's big just looking at it. So that's our first view. And then as we're coming in, you see there's a little seating area off to the side. And then look, here's baby with a big smile on her face. This is where she whispered to me, hey, this is the one, search is over. I'm like, what? Just because it's got a big back bedroom? We got to keep looking. We have more boats to look at. But yeah, this back aft cabin area is pretty impressive. It's very nice. And then you see here a TV off to the side. And you know what they say, having a TV in the bedroom is not a good thing for the marriage. So we'd be taking that out right away.
So we liked that. That was a big plus. That was a solid win. First time we saw a boat that had actually a really nice bed in it, and big back cabin. It was really nice. The master bathroom in the aft cabin had a bathtub in it, and that was cool. I mean, it was like a full-on bathtub back there, so it's pretty nice. Big bathroom, lots of room on this boat.
So here you can see the aft cabin master bathroom area. And this is a pretty good sized bathroom for a boat. And here we got a good view of the little bathtub they have back there. I mean, that's a pretty good sized bathtub for a boat, and shower area. So that's nice. I can imagine that'd be really nice to have on a boat. So, but yeah, it's a pretty good sized bathroom for the size of boat we're on here.
And so that was cool. We were really happy with what we saw back there. There's one area of this boat that we saw coming out of the aft cabin was the mast. The headliner had been removed. It looked like we were troubleshooting a water leak back there. And then also we noticed that it looked like the mast had a splice in it done at some time. And,
okay, so in this picture here, there's a couple things going on, and I'm not trying to be overly critical or picky or anything like that, but there are some things that are concerning in this picture. The first thing, if you look at the mast there, you see all those screws in there. That generally means there's a splice section in there somewhere, and those screws are joining the lower section of the splice together. And up on deck, you'll see the same amount of screws in the same area, and that's holding the upper part of the splice together. As long as that splice is done properly, generally you don't have room for concern, but a lot of people will shy away from that. That's the insurance companies as well may have a problem with that. So it's one thing you want to take note of if you see that on a mast. Second thing in there, if you look towards the top of the ceiling around the mast, you'll see the wood where it's got water staining on it. That tells you it's been leaking. So there's a good product out there you can use to stop those areas from leaking. It's called Spartite, and it'll hold the mast in place steady, gives it support, but it'll also stop it from leaking in that area again. So that's another thing. But you'll see the headliner's removed in that area, and it's covering the headliner removed is a large area. So there's probably more than one leak going on in that area that they're chasing down. But there's a couple. All I'm trying to say is there's a couple concerning things going on in that area that would give a surveyor concern and a purchaser as well. So just something to pay attention to if you're doing a walkthrough and see some things like that.
And we weren't really sure about that because we're not that kind of, that's not our specialty, but it just had the appearance. It looked like it had been spliced. And so that would have been something we'd want to investigate a little bit further. But we continued on looking through the rest of the boat, and the gentleman that was showing us the boat was really friendly, very informative. He was not trying, I didn't get the feeling he was trying to hide anything from us. He was telling us everything about this boat, and this boat was pretty much turnkey, ready to go.
Did you start the engine? I forgot.
No, I think it was running. I think the engine was running when we came up to it, if I remember right. But so that was fine. We knew that it ran, and it was a turnkey boat, so it was ready to go. Coming out of the aft cabin, working our way forward, we got towards the galley area. Oh my gosh.
I like the galley.
Yeah, this galley was nice. Very open. It had the island countertop area with the cabinets overhead. similar to what we saw on the CT-54 in Titusville, but this one was it was a bigger galley, really nicely laid out, very clean. Everything looked functional in it. It was really nice.
So yeah, as we're coming out of the aft cabin area, you'll see this table area off to one side, and that's actually a dinette area. That's where you could sit and eat a meal. And then just across from the table, there's a nice countertop pass-through area, which leads right into the galley. So if somebody's preparing a meal or whatever, they can just slide it across to the people sitting on the table there. Or it's just another area to put food if people are standing around eating and talking and hanging out and all that stuff. So it's a very roomy space back there for the galley and the little settee area, or the dinette area. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And then there's also the nav station off to the side there, and you can see the stairs going into the galley. So it's just these boats are big inside, and there's a lot of room for moving around. But that's a pretty good sized nav station as well for a boat this size. So spacious is the key phrase on this boat. It is big all around inside, which is really nice.
And I got to back up just a little bit because when we were in the aft cabin, what was that you said to me back there?
Search is over.
Yeah, she's like whispering, "The search is over. This is the one." I'm like, "What? Hold on. We have a whole list of boats we're gonna look at on this trip."
It's a very nice boat.
Yeah, it was really nice.
The galley, the office area.
Yeah, it had a nice.
Bed,
Yeah, it had a nice office area that was
it's clean.
Yeah, it was a very clean boat. He had a lot of stuff on it, but it wasn't cluttered. It wasn't like full of junk everywhere. Everything was put away.
Acceptable.
Yep, everything was put away in its place. One of the things I noticed on the breaker panel, control panel area, it looked like there were some switches missing. That definitely needed to have some updating done on it. But
so here's a control panel. You can see this is pretty dated. This could use some all new switches, breakers, analog gauges. They're shown there. I mean, this could all use some real upgrading and updating. And it appears there's a whole row of switches that are missing. But yeah, it's functional, but still, I'd want to update it. And then you can see here also, I forgot to mention before, but this has really great engine access. That whole box right there underneath the companionway stairs, the engine's tucked away back in there. So if you ever had to do maintenance on this, you have really good access for getting to the engine. So that's a big plus on a boat. Having access to all sides of the engine and being able to get to the top and the back, really nice for all the maintenance duties you'll have to do on these kind of boats.
we couldn't really take a lot away from this boat in a negative way. This, just so far what we saw in our initial walkthrough where we were at in this boat, it was looking pretty good. And like she said, she really, she's all smiles in the aft cabin. She likes the bed. She likes the whole layout back there. She's like, the search is over. This is the one. I'm like, hang on a second. We got other boats to look at.
Well, the bedroom is pretty nice. The wood and...
Yeah, and the bathtub and all that stuff in the master bathroom, it was sharp, very nice looking. So, and then we look around at the galley, and we work our way towards the main salon. And the main salon on this boat is nice and open. Also in the galley, there's a little dinette table too. I forgot to mention about that. It has a nice little dinette table where, I could be hanging out eating while you're in the kitchen doing what you do, and we could be able to see each other and talk and just kind of really relax and hanging out. I mean, this boat's kind of like exactly the layout we're really looking for. I thought it was pretty nice. The main salon area was just huge. There was a nav station there with a nice desk. There was a chair on wheels, carpeted. The two settees or the couches, they were big and pretty roomy where you could really relax and hang out. Had a nice flat screen TV in there with like a little chest of drawers or whatever underneath the TV, so you had storage in there. It was just, and you had plenty of places for books. It was really well laid out. I didn't really see any water staining on the teak where the windows was at, which is a telltale sign that they're leaking. I didn't really see any of that there. There was one bulkhead that had some discoloration on the wood, but I couldn't tell if that was just a different piece of teak or had it been stained with water or something in the past. But really nice looking boat. So
here's that section of wood just off to the right side of the TV there. You'll see the wood's got the streaks on it. It's really hard to tell if that's water damage or it's just a grain in the wood paneling that was the veneer that was attached to the bulkhead there. But right up above that, there is a large forward-facing windshield area that could possibly have been leaking, but really couldn't tell.
We looked around the main salon. It was, like I said, it was laid out really nice. We worked our way towards the forward portion of the boat, and the forward area was equally as nice and roomy. There was plenty of...
So here's a look at the forward head. This is the one that the guests would be using, or whoever's visiting on the boat. This would be the main head on the boat to be used. And it's another big roomy bathroom area, which is really nice.
There's plenty of beds on this boat to sleep several people, several adult-sized people.
Mm-hmm.
So you could definitely do some serious passage making on this boat. With several crew on board as well, friends, crew, whatever, right? And so it was nice. So we checked out the interior of this boat, and we were both pretty happy with what we saw. I think if I had to really pull anything negative, that I didn't really like about the interior, was it did kind of have that Tupperware feel to me, where there was a lot of white fiberglass, gel coat, plasticky kind of look to it. It did not have the wood floors in it. And I thought there were some more areas where there could have been more teak and, a little bit more nautical feel to it. But
so here's what I'm talking about with the floors, or you can call it the cabin sole. It's white. It does not have the teak and holly flooring. It doesn't have any of the teak type of patterns on the floor or anything. It's just white. So it gives it that kind of Tupperware look to me.
That's just me. I mean, that's really, really stretching to look for something that we could take away out of this that was any kind of that would not really check all the boxes. So up on deck, we come up on deck and we're looking around, and the main cockpit area of this boat is very roomy.
So here's the cockpit area, or the helm, and you can see it's very roomy. It has lots of seating area all the way around, so you can put quite a few people in here while underway, or relaxing, watching a sunset, or having a barbecue or whatever. But one of the things I noticed is it does not have a dodger, which gets you out of the weather from spray or anything like that. And there was no electronics, no navigation on this boat at all.
You could sit several adult-sized people in there and still have room enough to move around and still be at the helm and the aft portion of the cockpit. And everybody's got room to do what they need to do and move in and out and, get in and out of the cockpit, walk around deck, whatever you have to do. This boat was pretty well set up. The few things up on deck I noticed that I kind of didn't really think was appropriate were the air conditioning boxes. Those are like RV air conditioning boxes, and
So here's the view of the air conditioning box mounted on top of the cabin top there. I just think that's not quite appropriate for a boat. They need to have the reverse cycle marine air conditioning systems in there.
That's kind of not really cool on a boat. So
well, maybe that was just temporary, or it's permanent.
they look pretty permanent. But so something like that, I think I would have just went through the effort and actually installed the marine reverse cycle air conditioners, heaters in there inside. But maybe they were in there, maybe they didn't work, we don't know. But anyway, so up on deck there was a few other issues. The most glaring issue, and I'm by no means a rigging surveyor or rigging specialist. I'm not even an expert. I have very limited knowledge when it comes to rigging, but the rigging on this boat was rusted, corroded, a lot of patina on the turnbuckles.
So here's a couple examples of the rigging we were talking about and the patina on the turnbuckles. If you look at the turnbuckles, you'll see kind of the greenish color on there. That's the patina. And then if you look at the fittings above and below the turnbuckles, you'll see that there's colors of rust and things like that on there. So this rigging definitely needs to be checked out. By no means are we rigging specialists. I'm not a surveyor or anything like that, but that's who we'd want to have a look at it, be a rigging surveyor.
The rigging on this boat was definitely cause for concern and would need to be redone. It would need to be re-rigged for sure. So that was, and that's a big expense, especially on a 52-foot Ketch. That's going to be a pretty spendy check right there. That's, one of the big negatives I noticed about it. That was going to be a big expense to fix. Let's see what else. Oh, there was a couple spots on deck where it looked like They had dropped something, and it did actually some denting into the fiberglass up on the deck where they. So those were going to be areas where it was probably delaminated. Water's probably either already in there or was going to be getting in there at some point. One of the other big things that I noticed on the deck was the teak rub rails on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those were so far gone and worn down from years and years of sanding and refinishing. They were down to like, 1/4 inch thick in some areas. And that was definitely going to be something that had to be fixed or replaced. At least for me to be able to look at it and be satisfied with the boat. I want that rub rail to look nice. Because it's part of the bright work on the outside of the boat, and it's something that you're going to see all the time on the boat. But all in all, this was a pretty solid boat. At this point in our search where we were at, we didn't quite have the amount of money he was asking for this boat. It was a little out of our price range, but he did indicate a little bit that he was willing to negotiate on it. I didn't really want to get into negotiating at that time, just because we had several other boats we were going to look at, and we already had a trip planned to go to Trinidad to look at a boat in the future. So by this time we had boats scheduled to go look at, all the way on our way back
We're
home.
gonna finish
Yeah, so
our trip.
Yep.
And look at the boat.
Yeah, and then
before deciding.
right, and so this one was a strong contender at this point in our search. Although the price was a little bit higher, I think we had room where, we could have had a survey done on it and found some things that would have brought the price down into probably our ballpark range. But again, we have to consider transportation costs back home. Do we hire a captain to sail it back? Do we take time off of work and sail it back, leapfrog, stop halfway home or whatever and leave it, and then come back later the next year or something and kind of just stair step it back home? Because it'd have to come through the Panama Canal. Anything on the East Coast has got to come through the Panama Canal, and a boat this size, you're not going to transport it over the road. It's just going to be too expensive. But yeah, so all in all, I thought this was a pretty solid boat. I mean, after all the ones we'd looked at up until now, this one was checking a lot of the boxes, and it was a nice boat. I mean, and the gentleman that showed it to us, he was really friendly, really nice, totally nice guy. So we can't really walk away with a lot of negatives on this one, other than it was just a little bit older than what we really wanted in an Irwin 52. But really well kept boat, and it was in really good shape. Had a few big question mark areas with the mast. Looked like it had been spliced. The rigging, the teak rub rail, and the water looked like there was some water damage happening, and the main walkway back there, back where the mast stepped to the keel. And the Irwins do have a reputation of having the mast step actually corroding away on them to the point where the mast is kind of dropping down into the hull a little bit on these. So I do know that, but not sure if that's what was going on here or not. We didn't get that far into it. We would have definitely gone, a survey route on this boat if we had really got serious with it. We would have had to come back on another trip and really get into it. But so we took several pictures, as we always do. We like to review these once we're, going back home and really zoom in on them and look for whatever we can find. I find that pictures are sometimes better than video, just because we can zoom in on, and really look around. So
here's a nice bow shot on the Irwin here, and you can see it's got a dolphin viewing platform on it as well, and it goes out there pretty far. And then here's a view from me standing on the dolphin platform looking back, and you can just see the whole length of the boat. It's a pretty big boat. A couple shots of the mast here just to give you an idea of all the rigging cables that are involved, and that's a lot of expense to re-rig and replace those cables. So when we're looking at these boats, we're just trying to be realistic, and kind of get a good idea what all the costs will be involved in fixing it up to the way we want it. The other good thing on this boat was the cockpit. Like I said, here's another shot of that. It was just really nice and roomy. We liked that.
But yeah, pretty solid boat. I was really happy with what we saw. And so when we left this one, we left with the notion that we'd be keeping this on our short list. So it was a nice boat. Maybe had we bought this boat, we would have I probably would have wanted to put teak floors down on it, and I would have wanted to add a little bit more wood onto the interior and stuff like that. And if I remember right, I don't think this one had a generator on it, if I can remember right. I don't think he had a working generator on this, but still, I mean, most of the boxes were checked on this boat. We were happy.
Yeah. So to all the boats that we looked, this boat came to our number one in our list.
Yeah, at this point in our search, this boat went straight to the top. This was we went ahead and put this on our short list.
Yeah.
And we were going to be talking about this one and considering this one. And so, yeah, so we're pretty happy. I mean, you know, what was your opinion?
It was good.
Yeah, you're pretty...
I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah, she was at the point where, you know, we can just quit looking right here, but we had already scheduled, you know, to fly to...
We have few scheduled.
Yeah, we had one more. After this, we were heading to another location in Miami to look at a Pearson 53. And then after that, we were going to go to the Bahamas and then fly on our way to Trinidad. So we still had some boats to look at. And so that's why we didn't want to just stop here, because this was actually the first really nice boat we looked at. We didn't want to fall in love with this one, because she would have right then. I mean, if she had her way, we were buying this boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so opposite kind of where we were at before. It was always me going, yeah, this is the one, you know, let's do this. Now it's her, and I'm like, hey, let's just hold off for a little bit here. So it's kind of funny how the opposites happen on this trip. But yeah, pretty nice boat, and you know, it is really solid boat. I mean, I felt like this was something, if we had bought it, we could have took off in it, and we would have been able to get it home and do what we need to do once we got it home. So, and we wrapped it up and took off and drove a little bit farther into Miami. I think we only had to go about maybe 45 minutes to the next boat. So, and the nice thing about when we went to this Irwin, the broker couldn't make it with us, remember? And so that was nice to look at this boat without a broker with us. It was just us and the owner. Shopping for a boat with a broker is kind of just drives me nuts, because they what they want to do is they want to talk to you and distract you from seeing what you really want to see. And it's like, dude, come on, I'm trying to look at something here. And so it was nice to not have the broker with us on this one. So that was cool. This was our first real solid positive, I think. So, and
number one so far.
Number one. Price was a little high. It was a little more than we had to spend at the time.
But we're still considering it.
Yeah, we'll still consider it, and maybe we could find
ways.
Some creative ways of coming up with a little bit more money, and maybe he'd come down a little bit on the price, and we can meet somewhere in the middle. But we didn't want to negotiate yet, because we told him we had other boats we were gonna look at, and he's like, hey, no problem, just contact me when you guys figure out what you're gonna do. So that's what
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was kind of the first positive feeling we had in this in our boat search up to this point, and we kind of felt like we were turning a corner and actually going to start seeing some better, some nicer looking boats. I mean,
real boat.
Not so heavy on the project list, although this one did have some opportunities where we were going to have to be working on some stuff. But,
but we can leave right away.
Yeah, this boat would be able to take off under its own power and be good to go, and we could work on it and use it at the same time. So, and did you have any closing thoughts?
Well, no.
No? All right. Well, like we were both saying, we're pretty happy with this boat, and this one did have some small windows in the very aft end of the transom in the aft cabin.
So yeah, like we said, there were some windows in the aft transom in the aft master cabin, and you could actually look out those windows from the bedroom. So that was cool. Check that box. And then here's a couple extra external views of the boat, just to show you how beautiful this boat was. And it's a big boat. It was really, really sharp. We liked it.
So it could have checked that box, having windows in the transom, because we really like that. But these ones are pretty small, so but better than not having any at all. So,
right.
Yeah.
It still check your list.
It would check the box, so technically it was still, in the running with that. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. So all right. Well, until next time, like we always say, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think, if you thought this was a pretty solid looking boat, if this is something that you would have liked or would have been interested in knowing more about, or if you think that we should have kept moving on. Right?
Yep. Again, stay tuned, guys. There's gonna be more exciting.
Yeah, things start turning for the better, and we start to see some nicer boats. And
we're on the good side.
Yeah, we're on the good side of the search now, so things are starting to look up a little bit for us.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, we are getting closer. We still have several boats to review, but it gets kind of fun from here.
Yeah. we're getting closer and getting exciting and exciting and exciting.
Oh yeah. So stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Once again, thank you. See ya.
Now there's a nice looking shell. I'd keep that one.
And what's that?
My idea. Oh, we got a boat coming. It's this guy. Nice. Dang. 5 engines on the back. That was sweet. Welcome back to another edition.
No.
Oops. Got it on my own.
Take
Take two.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Do you want me to do it or you do
No, I
it?
got it. Welcome
Are you
back.
sure?
Yeah, still.